Hey gaming fans, so today I have another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and this one is Graydles and, well, I guess Graydles and Kaijus. So the object of this obviously is to give your opponent a Kaiju and then steal it with the Graydles, but we'll get to the deck. So for the first monsters I have 3 Graydle Alligator. So this is like your weakest one. It's like 500 attack, but that's okay. You don't actually really want to damage, like attack with these guys for damage. You actually want to use their effects. So they pretty much all have the same idea. If this card is in your monster zone and is destroyed by battle or spell, so one spell, the other's trap, and the other one is effect monster, and then sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip this card to that target. Well, that card is equipped to a monster by this effect, you take control of it. So basically they're all just brain controls or snatch steals. And then when this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. So then the second one we have is the Graydle Cobra. And this one's the same, except if it's destroyed by battle or a trap. But this one has 1,000 attack, so it's a little bit bigger. And then we got 3 of the Graydle Eagle. And this card is the same, but it's by battle or a monster effect. And of course this one's 1,500, so they all go up by about 500. And, you know, the only difference is how much damage you're going to take if you want to actually ram your monster into your opponent's monsters. And then for the last of the Graydles, we got 2 of the Slimes. This one, I kind of was always bouncing between having 1 in the deck, 2 in the deck, 3 in the deck, but, I mean, there's different ways to get them out and get them to work. But this one doesn't do the stealing effect. So if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you could target 2 Graydle cards you control. So it doesn't have to be monsters, it could be Graydle cards, and destroy them. And then if you do, you special summon this card. You can only use the effect of Graydle Slime once per turn. And then when summoned this way, you can target 1 Graydle monster in your graveyard and special summon that target in defense position. Now he does have 0 attack, but he is a tuner, so that's what he's in here for. So once he's in the grave, you can special summon him just by popping 2 of the Graydle cards, bring him back, and then you can bring back another Graydle and go into a synchro of 8. And there's a synchro monster for them. The other thing is, it is a monster effect, so it's going to work really good with the Graydle Eagle, because it'll destroy it, and then you'll actually get to use its effect as well. And so that's the, this is the Graydle lineups. So now we have the Kaijus. So I'm playing 3 of the Gameciel, I think it is, the sea turtle. So this one, it's, these things have a lot of text on them, but basically the Kaijus, you eat up one of their monsters and summon it to their side of the field. Then you can special summon a Kaiju from your hand if you have one. And then they all have their own little effects. So this one, during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect except itself, you could remove 2 Kaiju counters from anywhere to negate it. So that's actually pretty good. I mean, especially with 3,000 defense, you can even just hold them in defense mode. As long as you've got a bunch of counters somewhere on the field, you can start negating your opponent's effects. So it's always good. Then I threw in 1 Dogorian, so it's the same idea, except once per turn you can remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So I mean, that could come into effect. I just like him because he's got the 3,000 attack body. So it's good to, like, you know, eat up one of your opponent's monsters and then slam a Graydle into it and steal it. And then I got 2 of the same idea. It's, you know, the big guy, Jizukuro. This one's got a pretty good effect too. So this one is when a card or effect is activated that targets exactly 1 card and no other cards, you can banish or remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, negate that effect, and destroy. And then you can destroy 1 card on the field. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. And of course, he's 3,300, so he can get over any of the Kaijus. And then I got 1 of the Thunder King of the Lightning Strike Kaiju. Same idea. You special summon him to your opponent's side of the field or yours. And then once per turn, you could remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field. Your opponent cards and effects cannot be activated for the rest of his turn. Also, this card can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during the battle phase. So, another one that's actually really good. And then I just rounded off with 2 of these guys, which I kind of like these guys. And keep in mind, all the Kaijus, each player can only have one on the field, so you got to be careful when you start trying to steal. You can't have your own Kaiju and then steal your opponent's Kaiju, so you got to be careful in this deck. But this one's good because he can make a token, so you can remove 2 Kaijus from anywhere on the field, counters I should say, from anywhere on the field, special summon 1 Graydle token, which is a 2800 attack, 0 defense creature. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, you get this really big monster out. And so that's it for the monsters. And we'll get into the spells. So I put in 1 more, I agreed, just as kind of a draw, because all your Graydles are water, and you got 3 Kaijus that are water. So, you know, it's a little bit easier to, you know, pull this effect off, and you get to shuffle 2 water monsters that you don't need, and draw 3 new cards. I put in 2 Pot of Avarice, because I figured this deck, you're going to get a lot of monsters out, a lot, and they're going to be in the graveyard, and you're going to want them back, so, because there is other cards that search out monsters and stuff. So then we got Monster Reborn, again, steal from the graveyard. You know, one good trick would obviously be to tribute your opponent's monster with a Kaiju, and then Monster Reborn, the one you just killed. So that's, you know, pretty good. Next one we have, this is our Graydle support. This is a really good card, actually. Graydle Impact. You could target 1 other Graydle card you control, and 1 card your opponent controls, and destroy them. And then during the end phase, you can add 1 Graydle card from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Graydle Impact once per turn. So, I mean, that's cool. You can add a Graydle card every turn as long as this card's out on the field, which is why I said you're going to be getting a lot of monsters out. And it's also a spell card, so the effect of your alligator, if he's on the field and you destroy him, you get to destroy a card, and you get to steal 1 of your opponent's monsters. So, really good card for this deck. I wish there was a way to search this one, but I don't think there is. Terraforming, just to get out the Kaiju Waterfront, which is the Kaiju field spell. So each time, this is what you're going to use to try and generate a lot of counters. Each time a card is sent from the field to the graveyard, place 1 Kaiju counter on this card. For each sent card, maximum of 5. And then once per turn, while 3 or more Kaiju counters are on this card, you can add 1 Kaiju monster from your deck to your hand. So much like this card, the Graydle card, you're going to be searching monsters from your deck to your hand. And then if this card would be destroyed, you can remove 1 Kaiju counter from it instead. So really good card. I mean, both these cards work really well together, and they both pull out a lot of monsters. Then I added in the Kaiju files. So just another way to generate counters. Each time a Kaiju monster is special summoned from the hand or graveyard, place 1 Kaiju monster on this card, max 5, and then once per turn you can target 1 Kaiju monster on the field, destroy that monster, and then special summon 1 Kaiju with a different original name from your deck to this controller's field, and send this card. And then you can send this card with 3 or more Kaiju counters to add 1 Kaiju spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So, you know, it can grab your waterfront if you need it. But again, it's going to help you grab more monsters. And then, of course, 2 of the Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers. Same idea. This one will get more monsters out. So you destroy all monsters on the field as possible, then special summon in attack position 2 Kaiju monsters with different names, but they cannot change their battle positions and must attack if able. And then during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 Kaiju monster from your deck to your hand. So again, you know, more grabbing cards, which is why I wanted the 2 Pot of Avarices, because chances are you will be filling up your graveyard in this deck. And so that's it for the spells. And now for the traps. So we got 2 Graydle support cards here. Graydle Split. This one's an interesting card. You target 1 face-up monster you control, equip it with this card, and it gains 500 attack. I mean, that's pretty, you know, whatever. But during the main phase, you could send this card equipped to a monster by this effect to the graveyard, destroy the monster this card was equipped to, and if you do, special summon 2 Graydle monsters with different names from your deck, and then destroy them during the end phase. So again, you're getting more Graydles out of your deck onto the field. This would be how you're probably going to want to pull out your tuner monster, your slime. So you can get the slime, you can get an eagle, and then go into the synchro of 8. So that's a pretty good card, actually. Then there's these ones here, Graydle Parasite. it's an okay card. It's a continuous one, so you can actually use it to help summon your slime again, because it says you contribute 2 Graydle cards. So this is a continuous card, so you can actually, you know, activate it and then use it. But when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you could special summon 1 Graydle monster from your deck in attack position. If you control no monsters, when a Graydle monster you control declares a direct attack, you could target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon that target to their side of the field. And if you control no monsters, if they control no monsters, and then you can only use it once per turn. So it's kind of a fun card to you know, mess around. If your opponent tries to attack you directly, and you can flip this up, and then you get to special summon a Graydle, and then they're going to want to like reconsider their attack, because then you're going to steal their monster. Or if you go to direct attack them and they don't have any monsters, you can take one of their monsters from the graveyard, put it onto their field, and then attack that and then steal it. So kind of a fun card. And then the last 2 cards is the Kaiju capture mission. Just more Kaiju support. So once per turn, if there are less than 3 Kaiju counters on this card, you could target 1 Kaiju monster in the field, change it to face down defense position, then place 1 Kaiju counter on this card. So this is good because, you know, you can only have 1 Kaiju on the field. Each player can only have 1 Kaiju, so you could use a Kaiju on your opponent's monster, flip it face down, and then you can summon another Kaiju because there's not a face-up Kaiju. Or it could just help you to ram over the monster that you've just turned to defense mode, and then steal it if you can. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you can draw 2 cards. So that's just some draw power too. I mean, if you set it and your opponent plays something that destroys it, you get 2 cards. So, you know, kind of fun. And it prevents your opponent from wanting to destroy it and get rid of it. They'd have to banish the card. Now onto the extra deck. I mean, I just threw in a lot of, you know, level 8 synchros, because there is Graydle Dragon. And so this one's kind of interesting. It's like, it requires an Aqua Tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters, but that's what your Graydles are. And then when this card is synchro summoned, you can target cards in your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters used to synchro summon this card. So that'll probably be 2. And then destroy them. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 other water monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but its effects are negated and you can only use it once per turn. So again, you can grab any of your water monsters, even these guys. So you can, if you have to, you can grab him, and you know, he's 3,000 defense, so you can throw him in defense mode. So and then I decided, you know, Stardust Dragon, because, you know, there is a lot of destruction going on, so you might want to use that. I actually put in the Spark Dragon too, because one thing is, when you play your interrupted Kaiju Slumber, destroy as many monsters on the field as possible so you can protect this guy. That was my thought anyways. And then you got, I just threw in like Crimson Blader, because this card can be good against certain decks. You know, if they summon a lot of level 5 or higher monsters. Thought Ruler Archfiend. This guy I thought would be interesting too. There are a lot of decks now that banish a lot of cards because of Pot of Desires. So this card gains 100 attack for each of your opponent's banished cards. So that can get really big. And then Scrap Dragon, Colossal Fighter. And then I threw in some, you know, just in case. Got some rank cards. Link cards. And then, you know, if you need to get rid of your Graydles. I don't think you'd really be using too many of these. You might want to get rid of some of your Kaijus so you can, like, summon more Kaijus, but, I mean, it really depends. Anyways, yeah, that's the deck. Kind of fun, kind of interesting concept of being able to, like, eat up your opponent's monsters and then steal them. You know, originally I was using things like Lava Golem, but I think the Kaijus work a little bit better. Anyways, hope you like the deck. Let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below, suggestions on how you would play this deck. I always like to hear that. And hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.